Pets become family, but their death is the only family death we're expected, even by ourselves sometimes, to just get over. This is At a Loss, conversations on living fully, knowing loss as part of life. I'm funeral celebrant Timothy Giles, introducing you to veterinary doctor Kylie Kim. She's an end-of-life specialist vet. Kylie helps us face up to the hardest of decisions. Each day, she has the conversations that no animal lover wants to have.
She rang this morning to say she thinks today is the day. And her son, who lives in Australia, was booking a flight to come home to be there. So I'll go and see them this evening.
Any idea how old the dog is?
Not those. 12, 13. Okay. Yeah, older dog. Yeah.
Well, I wonder how old the son is to come back.
Yeah, adult's kid. But isn't that amazing? Like, things like that. I just see so many beautiful families.
I'm interested in that process there, when the time lag sometimes between someone phoning, right? And I think on your website you offer an assessment.
Yes, yeah. So I offer assessment visits for families that aren't quite sure. This can be families that's kind of already made a decision that they just want a third party to come and check over the pet and talk to the family about how it's all looking. Sometimes it's a pure assessment visit where they know that the time is coming, but it's not quite there yet. So we're there to, offer advice on, where to put, mats around the house, raising the food bowls, just to make things a bit more comfortable. This is, I guess, the palliative care side of things, where you are adjusting things around the house, medicine, different, I guess, diagnostics that the pet may need with their, own regular vets. Just talking about that as an assessment visit.
Human palliative specialists have talked to me about the need and how okay, well, you're palliative now. There's not recovery. We can probably stop taking a number of these medicines, but often people haven't thought about that. And even that removal of some of those medicines can lead to an improvement in that end-of-life experience for someone. Same with a pet.
It's not as complicated with pets because human medicine is always going to be more complex, and our attachment to live or let our, human family member live is different to our pets because we know our pets only have a certain number of years left. And, as much as our pets are, our family member and we love them, I think the relationship with the care at the end will naturally be different to, I guess, a human family member.
And you've got different tools
of
care.
Yes.
Of options.
Yeah.
How do they compare?
Human versus pets.
Yeah. So in that palliative sense.
Yeah, in the palliative sense, I think it's a bit complicated because in humans we've got like a hospice where they're admitted and they're given, round the clock pain relief, round the clock care. Even like a community nurse at a home setting can come and look after that side of things at home, where there is a limitation as to how much a family or how realistic that care in the end can be. Like there's no really a pet. In theory, you could admit your pet to a specialist clinic, but then the cost is not really going to be realistic. And
also, what pet is happier being somewhere other than at home?
Exactly. I think that's another thing. And I think humans can choose to be in a hospice or in a hospital or so on, where pets, they don't understand. So I think that's also another big thing to consider when you're thinking about the palliative care side of things, it's like how much you want to put your pet through. They're not able to consent to a chemotherapy. They're not gonna consent to hospitalization. Like, it's a stressful environment and stressful procedure for them.
Look, the cat is fine. The noise is fine, Kylie.
She's just so hungry.
Yeah, and well, let's let her eat. Was she allowed to eat or not?
She already had breakfast, but I'll give her a little bit more. She's winning.
I love that she's 8 years old and she is this active and interactive.
Oh, 8 is pretty young though.
Is it?
Yeah.
What would her expectancy be?
If she makes it to 18, I'll be very happy. But realistically, maybe 14, 16.
She's a rescue cat, right?
She's a rescue cat.
Life expectancy on rescue.
But she was rescued very young though, so she's kind of just like she's not a pure stray, I guess, that you get in some cases.
Yeah.
She didn't have a tough life, so she should be okay.
I can see that. So you get called in if you sometimes do an assessment. So sometimes there will be, you've met an animal, you've met the family, there can be care, and that animal might continue for how long before you then
really
come?
Depends. So some days sometimes that assessment visit becomes a euthanasia visit at the same time. Another time I can be there putting the pet down the next day. Sometimes a month later. Like, I've got a family that I have seen twice now, and I think my first time seeing them was maybe 4 months ago. So people sometimes just need an advice.
Hang on. You saw them 4 months ago with the same animal?
Yeah.
Wow, they brought you in early, didn't they?
Because
is that optimal? Is that?
I think it's always good, especially when they've got like a chronic, incurable illness.
But that's life, isn't it?
Yeah, that is life, isn't it? But I think some families find comfort in creating a relationship first, rather than meeting me on the day that the pet goes. So I have had families that want to just make sure the pet's comfortable with me, that they're comfortable with me before it happens. Most cases, though, they give me a call and I go and see them for euthanasia.
So the animal process fairly simple. Meet, settle, ready, sedate, 10 minutes asleep, final injection. But it's the people management, right? What have you learnt?
What have I learned? I learned a lot about death, and I learned a lot about like loving as much as I can before the time comes. I'm tearing up again.
I love that you tear up when you're talking about your work.
And just life, just got to live life as best as you can, because we all die, we got to make sure we enjoy or live as well as we can now before the time comes for us to. It's inevitable, isn't it?
A friend of mine has just adopted another dog and is an absolute sucker for a rescue.
Yeah.
And he ends up getting these dogs who are significantly into their adult life.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I've just signed myself up for another heartbreak.
Oh, I know. Yeah. But the joy and the beauty and the memory that you have with your pet before they go, I think it's worth it.
So if you were going to advise someone on, here is how to have a beautiful end-of-life euthanasia experience, what's the advice you give? How do I
Don't wait until the absolute last moment. Because sometimes it really depends on their don't wait as late as. Don't avoid the conversation. Don't avoid the conversation. Chat to the family. Make a plan. I guess It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because humans, we've evolved now to want to control every situation. And one might say that that's not great, but on the other side, that means that you get to control how you experience life. And because I know what it can look like when things are left too late, where the family has to rush to an emergency clinic, or the family or the pet dies in like not a very nice way. If you kind of start the conversation, start planning, then you might be able to control it somewhat and make it as beautiful as possible. And that way the pet gets to have a good day. Family and friends can come and say goodbye. It's kind of like the human euthanasia.
So, and friends?
Yeah, sometimes friends, that like godmother, And
No, I don't know. This is not my life.
Sometimes it's like a pet sitter that's been pet sitting for a long time. Like it just become like an extension of the people, the pet's people.
So they might all be around.
They might be around, or they might want to come and say goodbye before. For the neighbors. Neighbors might want to come in the morning to say goodbye to their pet and give the family a hug, before I come in the afternoon. Things like that.
That's a lot of planning.
There's a lot of planning. So people do get quite overwhelmed. Because it's a hard thing to even think about, to then, plan it all. So I have had a lot of families that are like, we left it too late for our first one, so we didn't want to do it for the second.
That's interesting. So you've got a family coming back to you who've had the experience. Mm-hmm. And is that quite a consistent communication with you?
Yep. I've had families that I've gone to see multiple times.
And is it like quite consistent? They say, I don't want to wait as long this time.
Yes. So it's not that I was there for their first pet. It's just that the first pet got put down or passed away, before they found me. And whilst I'm there, a lot of people say like, I've left my first dog go on for too long. Didn't want to do it for this one. Hence why you were being called, I think there's a saying, like I'd rather let my pet go like a week earlier than a day too late or something like that, just so that they don't have to suffer. You've got to understand that the point of making these decisions is that you don't want your pet to struggle and suffer with no reason. And if you think about the existence of pets, I think, they're not here for a long time. I think, because they only live, a short period of time. So I think it's even more important that they don't endure suffering more than they have to.
It's a tough decision, though.
It's such a tough decision. And I personally haven't had to make one. My cat passed away hit by a car on the road. And I'm dreading to need to make the decision for my cat and a dog.
Are you?
Yes.
This is what you do professionally.
I know. It's always hard when it's your own, though. And it's so, and I think until I go through it myself, a lot of things in life, you don't know what it's like until you have done so. Like kids, the idea of it, you can read books, you can do so much, but you don't know until you have one. Same for pets, you don't know the connection and love until you have your own, and you can be like, oh, that's why those dog or cat people are crazy about their pet, because you just love them so much.
If you, you may be faced with this decision. What have your experiences of helping and supporting so many people and families through this? Like, what has that taught you? That if you're starting to look at your animal and thinking, goodness me, What have you learned? Like, what's the advice that you'll have given yourself to think through?
Just love them as much as you can now, because the time is gonna be here. And I think the decision making really varies depending on what problem the pets end up having.
Give me some examples.
So, it could be, I guess because I've got a small dog, they tend to live a bit longer, but they can have dementia. I mean, big dogs can too, but generally because little dogs live for a bit longer, and I feel like their brain deteriorates and they get like dementia. And that circumstance is really difficult because in theory, they're able to eat, go to toilet, but they don't know what they are. They don't know what's happening. Looking after them can be really challenging with them toileting everywhere and being disorientated overnight and not sleeping. So I think those cases can be really hard. But if it's like
So you've seen this in a number of animals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and so
Dementia
you
is
see
hard.
this.
And cats.
Okay.
Dementia is a hard one. Like people with dementia, it's really hard disease.
But also, without your qualifications and experience, I'm not sure that I'm going to spot that that's dementia.
I've got an article on my website that covers few illnesses, and cognitive decline is one of them. But you literally just think about a human being with dementia.
So Sunset Vet Care.
.co.nz.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. And you just think of, I guess, a relative or grandparents with dementia, and you will see that the pet is exhibiting similar symptoms.
I wonder, though, if I'm going to spot those symptoms readily in a pet who is around me all the time and with any decline, right? Like, I've got friends and I've watched their decision around an animal who is no longer living the kind of life that they were.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that they notice the change.
Sometimes it's really tricky unless there is something major like cancer or something that's like really painful. Then those decision making can be just more simple, I guess, where with the chronic things like arthritis decline, cognitive decline, people do not really see it for a while until it's really bad that their pet can't move anymore because of arthritis, or a family or friends come over and be like, look, your Fluffy is not looking great.
I can see how that happens, right? I mean, I've had a number of old dogs in my life, and there comes the point where the walks are shorter or slower and you're not fetching the ball anymore. Or if you are, it's a little underarm drop as opposed to a running throw.
Yeah.
And there's I'll just lift you into the car.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And those adaptions can last for years.
Yeah, and they can live, comfortable life with interventions like that for a while, right? Like there are pain medication. You can take your dog into physio, hydrotherapy, acupuncture. There's so many things we can do to help them be comfortable during this decline. But it will reach a point where your pet is no longer able to be relieved from its pain by doing all these various different interventions. And that's where being aware of it happening and knowing and then keeping the conversation flowing as to what my pet's quality of life looks like can be helpful and make the overwhelming situation, I guess, less overwhelming.
Do you have advice on the critical moment of making that decision? Because
everyone has a different line. Like some families, as soon as their pet starts toileting inside, that's it. Another person is like, as soon as they can't go for a walk anymore, that's it. So I think you just need to, I guess, reflect and really think about and talk to your family members about what that line looks like. And you've got to, I often tell families, you've got to look at their pet as a member of this ecosystem that is your family. You can't just focus on one human person or one pet and let go of everyone else's quality of life. I think it's a family unit that you have to look after, and don't put too much focus into one. How is everyone else doing? And if looking after a pet becomes too much that it's impacting, some people quit jobs to look after their pets. I've had a gentleman that quit his job to look after their dog. That happened. I think it's not common, but I've had families that have done that. I've had my dog had a heart disease. My mom didn't really leave home for like a year. She couldn't go anywhere because the dog would panic and like have a breathing problem. We do. So I feel like it reaches a point where it's not so healthy anymore for everyone involved. And as hard as it is to think about or, start the process of arranging things, it's just part of having a pet is you've got to be brave and you've got to be able to have these conversations and make these tough decisions. Is the reality of pet ownership.
So now I am curious about the decisions made.
Mm-hmm.
Is it easier once the decision's made, or does the tension mount because I've made the decision, but now it's going to happen?
Yeah.
What do you notice?
So the decision making is the hardest from what people have told me, and the waiting is hard. But once my service is finished, even when I'm there, like if the pet is passed away, it's in the house, everyone's tension just lifts up and be like, they're able to have more conversation with me. They're able to share some stories of their pets. I think people are just, we anticipate this moment and it's such a hard one. So people get so nervous and the tension builds up to that point. And once the pet passes away, it kind of passes. But for some families, of course, it's heavy the whole time. What I have noticed is that we all do grief so differently. Some families, they're joking as soon as I arrive. They're trying to make the situation really light. Where for some, they just want me in and out. They just want it done and done, very heavy. And we all do it differently. You just gotta give yourself a lot of grace, and it's okay to do how you want it because he or she's your family member. Give yourself a lot of grace, I guess. But yeah.
Imagine you have to give a bit of grace too, because in my work, I walk in to meet people in grief, and the behaviours people have in grief are not always polite.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like my experience is a little bit different to you probably, although probably similar in a way too, but I haven't had anyone that wasn't nice, or maybe I can give a bit of benefit of doubt because they're grieving.
Always a benefit of doubt when they're grieving.
Always a benefit of doubt.
But even the being overcome with grief, whether it's the no or the I just like absolute weeping.
Yeah, a lot of kids go through that emotion.
You see those things?
Yeah, a lot of preteens. I think that's a hard age too.
What do you see?
Screaming, holding on to their pet that they don't want the doggy to die.
That sounds fair.
It sounds so fair, and it's such a hard loss, and they don't understand. I mean, they understand that the pet is sick, and the family's done a lot of prepping, a lot of conversing with their children about, what's about to happen. But it is hard, and it should be hard. It's a family member you're losing. And someone once told me that you grieve as much as you loved, and it's just part of it, part of having a relationship, part of loving something. It unfortunately has to end at some point.
And you're in tears again.
I know. So I got tissue.
Here's another tissue. In my work, I often see a transition from that insensitive emotion, though. The screaming, it's allowed. If we try and block it, prevent it, I think people get stuck.
Oh, 100%.
Do you see it dissipate?
I mean, that's where the ashes drop off. I find that it gets closing the loop in a way because I see the same kids smiling, and able to children feel things so deeply, right? And then they're able to move on in a way, even though in their head it might be really complicated, but they're able to distract themselves or move on to another thing. So, when I do the ash drop off afterwards, I see the same kid and they're able to have a conversation with me. They're able to smile. So I find that so, I guess, touching, to be able to see that they're okay. Equally though, I've had a lady that messaged me a year after on the anniversary saying that they're still struggling. I've had another family reach out and be like, I don't know what to do. I'm still struggling. And I'd always tell people to seek a grief counselor. You can't do it alone sometimes. Sometimes the grief is too overwhelming. And if your pace of grief is different to your partner's, that's really hard too. So you need places like Death Cafe or a counselor to...
Well, you sponsor a grief support person, don't you?
Oh, I have a relationship with a app, like a Griffity.
Griefity.
Griefity.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. I mean, that's good. If someone's listening going, I'm stuck, I know this.
Yes.
That's somewhere that
Griffity
you...
app is not just for pets, it's any grief.
Got it.
And it's a place with forum, phone line, someone that you can talk to. But I always find face-to-face counseling work the best. So once you kind of do the things that you can do for free or in your own time, like Griffity app, if you're still struggling, book a time with someone. And it's so helpful. I had a session twice with a counselor after my cat died, and it just helped me so much.
What helped?
Oh, just putting words to your emotion and understanding why I am so sad. Yeah.
And you need a moment now to catch your breath.
I'm just thinking about my cat.
How long ago was this cat?
7 years ago. She was 1.
Oh, she was 1.
She was 1, and she was our first baby. I just every now and then I still get really sad about her. It's a wave. It comes and goes, and I don't know if it will ever go away. And that's okay. That's the love.
And this is a part of what you bring to the people in a difficult time.
Yeah. And this is what I mean about the grieving is so hard anyway, and I want the last memory to be as nice as possible.
Can I talk about the unpleasantness then for a moment, please?
Yeah, sure.
So Carol McCullum, Dr. Carol, is clinical director at Mercy Hospice, and she says, can we please stop thinking about a good or a bad death? Can we think about a natural death? But here's the thing. Sometimes it's messy. It's distressing. Must be the same with animals.
This is what I meant by, us trying to control things these days. And I think if you really think about it, pet ownership is not natural anyway. Right?
Well, I'm not sure about that. I mean, we needed the dogs to patrol our areas and keep us safe.
But in a way that we have our relationship with our pets now. They aren't meant to be sleeping in our bed, coming on car rides everywhere. I think our relationship with them have evolved so much so that wanting something to be natural in a relationship that's not natural, if they can have a good death, why not give it to them?
So
it's like it's, yeah.
Even aiming at a good death, some animals don't like needles. Sometimes there can be physical responses. Like if you've got an animal who has like an extreme time of a condition or what, right?
Yeah.
Then there are going to be physical signs of physical distress, right?
Definitely. And especially cats too.
Now you're worried about your dog.
She's barking for a treat. My goodness. Honestly, these guys.
Oh, yes, you were talking about unnatural spoiling of animals.
I know.
This is Twiggy.
This is Twiggy. She just gets what she wants. And this is what I mean. They live a short life is what I say.
I get
Spoil
it.
them. Only she's only 3 kilos. She can't do much harm. So I guess my aim is to make it as nice as possible, but there are going to be circumstances where.
Can you talk me through a couple of those?
Yes,
Just
of course.
because to me that's a part of here's what might happen.
Yes,
Be
here is
ready.
that definitely.
Be ready.
So say a skittish cat that hate a stranger in their house, like you mentioned, a stray cat, like ex-stray cat. In those cases, they freak out. So what I do my best to make it as less stressful for everybody. So I will sometimes sneak in, give an injection. The cat might not like it. They might, I guess, try to get away or yell. But it's so short-lived. The injections maybe like 1 to 2 seconds, and then they're able to relax. And I remove myself from the room so that the cat can sit on their mum's lap or dad's lap and just fall asleep. And for some dogs, they really don't like needles. Then we can distract them with treats so that they don't notice the injection going in. But if the dog has reached the point where they're not eating anymore, then I guess they do get the needle. But yet again, it only is 1 to 2 seconds. And
with people, we can have experiences like fluid in the lungs. There's the famous death rattle. There can be like, seizures.
So with pets, they don't have death rattle, but they can have what's called agonal gasping. Not many of my pets end up getting gasping issues, but it does happen. But they're gone at that point, so they're not struggling, I suppose. But the family seeing that can be quite frightening. So I always stay with the family afterwards for a few minutes. In case that happens, I'm there to kind of comfort them and explain what's happening. Or I mention it to some families that this may or may not happen because it seems to happen more in certain conditions than not.
Like medical conditions?
Yeah, medical conditions. If they've got like a brain condition, it seems to happen a bit more frequently in my experience. And if they've got, say, like a heart failure or a lung condition, then with the sedation, they may start to struggle with their breathing because their conscious effort kind of goes away. In which case, I tell the families I'm going to have to move quite promptly to the next step and put their pet to sleep, put their pet down.
Yeah.
We make it as I try my best, and my team, everybody that works, with me, do our best to make it as nice as possible. But,
I hear that. Last focus before we look to wrap up. You've got a team. You've got people around different regions. What regions are you in, by the way?
We're in Auckland, so we are able to service, most parts of Auckland. And then we just, a couple of vets just joined from Hamilton. So we're able to offer the service in Hamilton now too.
And other vets may apply from more remote
other
regions.
Vets may apply
to
for
be part
more.
of Sunset Vet.
Yes.
How do you look after yourself and your team? Because I'd imagine there's some kind of parallel processing or even walking into people with profound experiences and being in a time of trauma with them. That lands. That has an impact on you and on your team.
Yeah, but yes, it does. But because the experience that us vets get through these house visits are so rewarding and beautiful. Our vets actually, many vets have commented how much they, I guess enjoy is the wrong word because it's not a fun thing, but it's such a beautiful thing to be part of. And yes, it is emotionally hard sometimes, but ultimately it's a positive experience for the vet that is able to be there for the pets and the family. And I find that for myself too. And yes, it can be draining sometimes, but I don't know, I haven't really had to do anything to necessarily look after my, mental health because I find it so rewarding.
And you're perfectly comfortable with tearing up while you talk about it.
Exactly. I am completely comfortable with my emotions, and I encourage my families to be, because some people apologize. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that I'm crying. And on the phone, they're like, I'm so sorry that I'm crying. I'm like, of course you're going to cry, and it's going to be hard and it's going to suck. But that just is what it is to have a beautiful connection with the pet. And I think we're so lucky. We're actually so blessed to be able to have this. Because if circumstances were different, that you're in a different country or you're in a different life stage or whatever, then you may not be able to have this. So yes, I think a lot too.
I am astonished at how calm and comfortable with the tensions, the trauma, the intensity you are, and the emotions clearly that it brings up for you. You've gone through half my pack of tissues. And that something that grips us so much, and I hear people get so distressed about talking about pet grief, but also very, very dear friend of mine, moved house. His cat got out of the new house, got run over, and he was saying to me, what's wrong with me? I'm so upset over a ball of fluff. And I think that's an aggravating factor, that diminishment of how important and how present this cat had been in his life, in his family's life.
Yeah. I have been, I guess, very lucky to be in the industry that I am in. I was actually quite surprised that that is still a thing, diminishing the loss of your pet. Because in a vet industry and doing what I do, it's a huge loss. And we are all sympathetic with, other people's loss because that's the world that I'm in. So it's a shame that it still has that. But I know that some companies, like bigger companies, do bereavement leave for the pet loss. But yeah.
And your attitude is, so they should.
So they should. It's a huge loss. My goodness, like losing one of your kids. Probably not to that extreme because, obviously they're pets and human kid and pet kids, some people may not agree, but it is different, like losing my cat. Yes, I'm crying about it 7 years later. Losing my kid will be a completely different thing yet again. But it's still a huge loss. A lot of families actually tell me this is worse than losing their parent. It's like, this is much harder than losing my mom. We have, losing a pet is a big deal, and you've got to give yourself a lot of grace and a lot of space and time to sit in it, I guess. Don't try to avoid it and run away from it because you can't,
Is that your closing reflection too?
My closing reflection I thought about is whatever decisions you make, just know that you made it out of love. As long as a decision is made out of love, yes, some families tell me that they wish that they had done it sooner with their first dog or cat. But don't regret the love and time you got with your pet. because you think that the pet struggled. Yes, the pet may have struggled, but he knew or she knew that they were loved and they were part of the family. And that's okay too. You made the decision when you did, and just be okay with it because you made it out of love. Don't beat yourself up about it.
What a terrific ending.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. And it's the first time you've talked about something of emotional impact without crying. So well done. Dr. Kylie Kim, Sunset Vet Care, thank you for all this time.
Thank you, Giles.
So this has been At a Loss. My name is Timothy Giles. If you wanted to get in touch, whether it's to just give some feedback on your experiences or to make a suggestion of someone or something that we ought to cover in future, please do. Giles at aloss.nz, at aloss.nz.